Teve um vídeo que também me mandaram, e esse aqui é o último que eu queria assistir hoje, também para falar de Gaza. Porque é isso, não tem como falar de outra coisa, gente. Sinto muito. Eu acho que o momento que a gente está vivendo exige cada vez mais um apontamento e uma mobilização nossa nessa área. Vamos ver aqui. Esse Piers Morgan é um jornalista, um apresentador sionista, alguma coisa assim. Eu não sei quem é. O que eu vi é que o comediante deu um pito nele, né, sobre o tratamento palestino. Então vamos dar uma olhada aí.
To what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the, how are they doing, but you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like, it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians, they're very dramatic. Israel killing us. But they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult to kill. I know, because I'm married to one.
Exato.
I tried many times. Couldn't kill her.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
no, it's not dark humor. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Caralho!
Again, I understand the humor, but to be serious, Bassem, about this, tonight there is...
Vai tomar no cu, né? Pra ser sério.
I will be serious. Now, I will be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart. I follow him, and I believe everything he said. And when he came on your show, his solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many son of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again. And anyone who called for a ceasefire will be a terrorist sympathizer. So God forbid, I don't want to be labeled as a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many son of bitches as possible.
Well, let me,
okay.
Caralho, que lapada! Fica quietinho aí, britânico, que agora é a vez do pai.
3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist
500
hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
Okay,
because it changes
Bassem,
from 1 year. It changes from one. I'm sorry that. Listen, I'm really at a disadvantage here. I'm looking at a camera. I don't see you. I can hear you on my ears.
The reason I'm interrupting
so
is I think you might be. I think you're conflating different interviews with Ben Shapiro. He didn't use the phrase "sons of bitches" with me. Let me.
Ah, ufa! Ele não falou filho da puta, né? Ufa! Caralho, chat! Essa passou perto, hein? Essa passou perto, hein?
Play to you what he actually said.
Exatamente, Andressa. Meteu com força e com talento.
He did. Go back to your interview.
No, he didn't. That was another interview. But let me play what he said to me here.
Well, frankly, I don't believe in proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians in areas that they are supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
Now, that is substantively different to what you said he said, right? He's talking there
but
specifically about Hamas terrorists.
I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today...
Caralho, que, mano, brilhante, velho.
Great today for human lives. I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinian. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? You guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
No.
Ih, peidou, hein? Peidou, peidão. Big fart, né? Em inglês, big fart. Peidão, né? Extremo centro.
Not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like the people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that.
Não,
The good guys.
Muito bom. Você é um dos mocinhos, é muito bom.
I mean, the reason that I'm using this is that, I mean, I can't remember what happened in 2014, and there was no music festival, but there must be something. I mean, they must do something. It is their fault. It has to be something. I mean, 2018, 300 Palestinians died. Who's counting, you know? So the thing is, what my question is, let's find what is the exchange rate for human life today so we expect the future death of Palestinians and we'll be happy to it.
My response to that would be this, Bassem. I've thought carefully about this because I think
Pensou nada, foi pego totalmente no contrapé.
For people like me to immerse ourselves into a conflict where we're not directly involved.
Esse sotaquinho britânico não tá envolvido diretamente não, né? Não é como se, por exemplo, o Egito não tivesse sido uma colônia da Inglaterra, né? Nem a Palestina um protetorado. Não, a Inglaterra não tem nada a ver com isso, né? Porque na hora de falar de nacionalismo, de defender a nação, né? De fazer o discurso chauvinista, todo mundo bate no peito. Todo mundo pega o escudo aqui, ó. E beija o escudo, né? Mas na hora que a contradição da guerra colonial aparece, não, eu não penso assim, não. Eu não penso. Com essa cara, exatamente, com essa carinha de fish and chips,
I thought carefully about what I feel about this. I feel that the scale of what Hamas did on October the 7th supersedes anything else I've seen in this conflict, really ever. The savagery, the butchery, the slaughter of 1,300 people, the shooting of babies, the 100%. Kidnapping of grandmothers, and so on. So if we can agree on that, which I think...
Se pudermos, olha só que canalha. Se pudermos concordar com isso, porque aí ele cria o eixo comum. É aquilo que eu falei, gente. Ele compara sobre o eixo comum para fazer valer a narrativa dele. Isso é propaganda de guerra.
Then becomes again about proportion. I don't disagree that there's been a lot of bad stuff on both sides going back historically for decades.
De ambos os lados, o cara acabou de falar, em 2014 morreram 3 mil palestinos e 88 israelenses.
But if we agree that this is on a different level altogether...
tomar no cu. Go take in the ass.
Designed to provoke... No, here's my question. Let me ask you a question. And the question, because you raised it earlier about proportion. I honestly don't know what the proportionate response is. I honestly don't. I don't. I've been watching the airstrikes this week thinking...
So what's your question?
Well, I would ask you, if you were Israel...
Nossa, se você fosse Israel, né? Se você fosse um míssil, aonde você iria, né? Se você fosse um tanque, pra onde você iria? Vai tomar no cu, né?
If you were Israel, what would happen to you?
Vai se fuder, mano.
I think would be the appropriate way for the country.
Caralho, velho, os caras dominaram o mundo porque eles tinham pólvora e navios bons. É só por isso, velho. É só por isso.
To respond.
I would do exactly like Israel did, kill as many people as possible since the world is letting me do it. I mean...
Caralho!
I can do it because I can, you know? But the thing is, you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be...
Caralho, que invertidaça, velho. Caralho!
Even ahead of you, because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocities? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas is the source of all evil. They're a reason for everything. And you know what? Let's, for a minute, imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this world look like? Let's give this word a name. And let's name this word the West Bank.
Como é que vem o Mohamed Salah da comédia?
Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank. And since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed.
Olha a cara de merda do Fish and Chips!
No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. I can go on and on and on and on.
No, but you don't need to, because in a way you're preaching to the choir. I've followed this crisis.
Você está pregando pro coro! Peidão, 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 peidão. Ah, eu te fiz a pergunta, você me respondeu e agora não vale, porque você está falando para o seu público, você está falando para os seus convertidos. Quando a guerra de narrativa e diversão são feitas por eles, aí é a verdade, é inquestionável, são os fatos, as evidências, a razão. Quando é o outro lado, não, aí você está sendo irracional, aí você está falando pro coro. Peidão, peidão.
No, you're not pretty sure. So the thing is, like,
well, in the sense that I know that what you're saying has validity, of course.
Piers, by the way, Piers.
É válido, é válido. Ah, pá, puta. Jô, desculpa, eu vou jogar aqui no meio pra não ficar na frente do cara, tá bom?
Piers, I am at a disadvantage here. I can hear you, I cannot see you. I am in a claustrophobic room. So please cut me some slack and don't interrupt me and interrupt my point.
Sure.
So, because this has to be fair.
Understand.
Because if you want to only hear your opinion, I can just condemn Hamas and go home. I can do that. So, do you want to do that, or do you have a much more nuanced conversation?
No, I absolutely want to have a nuanced conversation. I wasn't aware.
Não quer não, pô.
I was interrupted.
Gente, eu sou... gente, peraí. Vocês estão sendo muito duros com o Pierce, né? Ele é só um garoto. Ele tá aprendendo. Ele tá aprendendo o que é uma interrupção. Ai, sabe, a lacrosfera também, viu? Fica inventando qualquer coisa. Ele tá aprendendo, e daí que ele tem 132 anos e ele ainda não aprendeu?
Amazing. So I would say
Amazing.
Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because
melhorou muito, hein?
I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis.
Dois fachos do caralho.
And they said Israel is the
Nossa, o Ron DeSantis é um facho.
only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them.
Muito
fucking cute.
Caralho, o cara meteu o how fucking cute, é muito bom, porra.
That is so nice of them. Because
É verdade, ele tá fazendo isso na segunda língua, verdade.
with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade.
Ok, Habibi, muito bom.
Fine, you have done your job. I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking about Human Shield. So you remember my wife's family, they live in Gaza. So I asked them, I told them, when Israel give you the nice warning, the cute warning, does Hamas force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield? You know what, Hassan here, my wife's cousin, he's a loser, you know. He told me, you know.
Ele é um loser, ele é um fracassado.
Does that happen? He told me, no. The lying son of a bitch lied to me. I told him, you don't understand. Ben Shapiro and Ron DeSantis keep saying that Israel warns you and Hamas.
É isso, gente, é o viés de confirmação, é igual o Rock fala, ele pega uma fonte específica, ele pega um pedacinho de evidência para falar que é verdade.
Ask you to stay put. So I told you, he's a loser, he never kept a job, he even failed in all of the interviews to become like a human shield. I would believe Ben Shapiro.
Let me ask you this,
so let's go.
Ah, não tá interrompendo não, né?
No, let me ask you
At some point I must be able to ask you questions.
Mama aqui, vai.
It's not a monologue for you.
Come here and glooby glooby.
If we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians was standing, obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is packing.
No, of course it doesn't. And look,
some collateral damage. Lots of collateral damage.
Yes.
It's fine, yeah.
Sim, admitiu.
Save some and then kill some more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
well, I mean,
Cara de merda. Shit face.
this. Again, it comes back to proportion.
Cigarrinho de maconha.
When the world decided it had to get rid of ISIS because of the appalling butchery.
O que tem a ver o cu cascalça? O que tem a ver com o cu cascalça, o Rei George, o curioso?
It did so,
Caralho,
but
mano.
also killing, very sadly, a lot of civilians along the way by doing airstrikes against places
But
which
killing
held
civilians are
ISIS
inevitable.
fighters.
You
So
said that in the beginning.
My point is,
It's inevitable.
yeah, but once decided that they want to get rid of Hamas, and Hamas is embedded with civilian population, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen next.
Tá muito.
I remember the Iraq
And the
war,
thing
which
is,
I opposed, right? I remember all this. So my question for you is,
Porra, então tu é burro pra caralho, né? Very, very stupid. Porque, mano, escrevi sobre isso, né? Escrevi, eu lembro, eu me opus. E aí tá fazendo igual? Ah...
what would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before, so it will work? What will be the surprise this time?
Não, é aquela velha tática, né? Você tá fazendo merda a partir de uma certa ação, e aí você vai fazer a merda de novo, esperando outro resultado. Parabéns.
What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What will be different this time? Seriously, I mean, like...
A cara de merda! Que coisa linda! Caralho, velho. Nem em 1981, quando o Flamengo meteu 3-0 no Liverpool, os ingleses ficaram tristes assim.
This is only the last 15 years. I mean, because it's too many papers. I just got this. But how will this be different?
Too many papers.
And the thing is, I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned the Iraq war. I applaud you, Piers, for saying that, because you were honest about it. You said that spreading lies like WMDs make people look at those people as less of humans, and they would accept the death of 1 million Iraqi, whether by sanctions or by invasion, right? You are a good man. This is amazing.
Você é um mocinho.
And you know what is similar? Is when you spread the lies of 40 decapitated babies, although it was refuted. So what happens when people hear that, you know, killing babies is horrible. But when you say decapitated 40 babies, you are planting a certain image with a certain trigger in people's mind.
Who has said that? Who has said 40?
Who has said that? You have said 40 decapitated.
Who has said that?
You have repeated.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
Never.
Ben Shapiro didn't say it?
No.
Ron DeSantis didn't say
Nobody has said.
Okay, Pierre,
no,
nobody said it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Ninguém disse isso.
Okay, maybe I am wrong. Decapitated. Here's
you're
the
wrong.
thing.
I've never said
the
that.
Thing, what happened? No, you're wrong. But the thing is.
Porque tem essa fala dele, né? Até deixa eu puxar aqui pra mostrar. Olha o chat. Ah, mano, eu amo muito vocês não têm noção. Olha aqui. Atenção. Ô, caralho. Ah, eu tô clicando na tela da live e não no vídeo.
Who has said that? Who has said 40?
Who has said that? You have said 40 decapitated.
Who has said that?
You have repeated.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
I choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them being beheaded. And I was like, how can any human being do that to a baby? Never.
Ben Shapiro. But when you say decapitated 40 babies...
Cara, nem treme, né, velho? Canalha pra caralho, velho. Canalha, covarde, mentiroso. É isso, né? É a máquina de propaganda.
In Iraq, but the thing is, the same thing is happening in Iraq. Ben Shapiro once tweeted, not even about Gaza, about the West Bank, when Israel continued to build the illegal settlement. He said, 2017, Israel likes to build things, and Arabs, not Palestine, not Hamas, Arabs, like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
Yeah, I thought that was very
the Israeli defense minister, he said, those are human animals. And the thing is, Ben Shapiro should know better, because, you know, long before the Holocaust, before Jewish people were thrown in the gas chambers, the Nazi propaganda called them rats. Now, as a human being, I will never accept that another human being being thrown into a gas chamber, but a rat, kill 10. Kill 1,000, 3,500. They are son of a bitch. They are human animals who live in open sewage and decapitate babies. And because of that propaganda, Mr. Morgan, that guy in Illinois, the 71 years old guy, he killed stabbing the 6-year-old Palestinian kid in Illinois 26 times. And he used to
Só para poder esclarecer, por causa... É isso, né, gente? O processo do colonialismo, quando ele promove essa desumanização, ele acaba naturalizando exatamente a violência, o tipo de legitimidade que a violência do colonizador perpetra sobre qualquer tipo de pessoa. Então, graças a esse tipo de fomento, a gente vai ter o crescimento muito grande da islamofobia. Da mesma maneira como, a partir da deflagração da guerra da Rússia contra a Ucrânia, a gente viu o crescimento exponencial da russofobia, né? O banimento de músicos, de pessoas que não tem nada a ver com o cu com as calças. A galera trocou o nome do drink de Moscow Mule pra Kiev Mule, tá ligado? Por quê? Porque essa tática de desumanização é uma tática que vai acabar construindo um ideal que permite você animalizar, permite você domesticar o discurso de uma tal forma que garanta que uma ação perpetrada contra uma mulher árabe, uma criança árabe, etc., seja legítima, seja aceitável, seja ok. É um discurso que vai acabar servindo como um alicerce para poder criar um campo de aceitação moral e encorajar as pessoas de fazerem isso. Como um exemplo paralelo, lembra que a gente via o Bolsonaro na época da eleição, não sei o que lá, mandando fuzilar a petralhada, falando um monte de merda, não sei o que? A gente teve uma série de assassinatos políticos no Brasil realizados contra a mestre de capoeira, contra a mãe de santo, contra aquele cara, o vereador no Paraná. Vítimas do quê? Vítimas exatamente do tipo de legitimidade que esse discurso constrói. Porque aí, dessa maneira, o covarde do colonizador, o filho da puta do colonizador, além de sujar suas mãos diariamente, ele vai fazer com que haja um incentivo para que a pessoa dominada por esse pensamento suje suas mãos. Então, o Bolsonaro não precisou matar ninguém. Ele não vai fazer isso, mas o discurso dele promove para as pessoas que estão mais sensibilizadas a essas questões um incentivo para tal, uma legitimidade para tal. Desumanização.
play with him. They used to be friends. But he went in, marching into their apartment, stabbing his mother and killing him, shouting, all Muslims could die.
Yeah.
It took you 80 years to change one word from Jewish to Muslim.
E aqui, ó, você pode fazer outra operação. Você pode trocar, por exemplo, muçulmano antes por comunista. Entendeu? Por isso que a narrativa liberal, a narrativa colonizadora, seja ela de direita ou de extrema direita, vai fazer o quê? Vai desumanizar. Vai desumanizar. É isso que ela vai fazer. Ela vai retratar como sujo, vai retratar como imundo, vai retratar como alguém que não carrega a dignidade do colonizador, porque ela está em um patamar abaixo do colonizador. Ela é uma sub-humana.
And took away our land.
Bassem, let me ask you a question.
That deal sucks, man.
O legado, inclusive o legado árabe, né? Porque se não fosse o povo árabe, a gente tava aqui fazendo conta de matemática sem número. Sem número. Se não fossem os árabes, a gente não tinha mapa, não tinha astronomia, não tinha navegação, não tinha porra nenhuma. A gente já tá tentando fabricar uma pedra filosofal que dá a vida eterna. Baita avanço, hein?
Ask you a question. How do we get from where we are now to peace?
Né? Pegou ali a saída da Dutra e foi embora o Fish and Chips.
Well, first of all, you need to change the perception. Nikki Haley, the American presidential candidate, said, we are in Israel in this because it's a fight between good and evil. Now, if you already decided someone is good, he can do no evil. And if you decided someone is evil, it's good to kill them. Killing them is good. You see, and the thing is...
Porque o assassinato é aquilo que vai ajudar... Percebe que é um ciclo infinito? Legitima a posição de sub-humano.
It is not like something new. I mean, I look at history and I see... I'm sorry to say this, but Westerners has always dealt like this with indigenous people. You first treated them like savages, you know, Native American, First Nation, Aboriginal. They're savages. Kill all the savages. And then when they're almost extinct...
Aí aparece um monte de teórico decolonial e o caralho. Eu fico perguntando, toda essa galera que vai estudar a colonização, a decolonialidade, a cultura, blá 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 blá, essas pessoas estão falando o que sobre a guerra? O que mais se tem hoje no Brasil, na academia, nesses setores, é o silêncio sepulcral. O silêncio. A leniência.
them, you know, like animals. So maybe the solution is that we kill as many Palestinians as possible so the few of them that remains do not bother you. And maybe Netanyahu, when he lives for another 100 years, he'll become a tree hugger.
Let me just challenge you on this.
And he will campaign
Ó, lá vem, hein?
All right, listen.
for preserving the three
You keep talking about Westerners like me. Okay, so let me return the favor, okay? Hamas is dedicated to
Eu vou retribuir o favor. Ele começa com o Hamas. Começa bem.
the complete eradication of Jewish people.
I am not the spokesman for Hamas.
I'm not saying you are.
Why do you keep...
I'm not saying you are.
The spokesman.
You're talking to
Pegou. Pegou, né?
fucking hate them.
Bassem,
Fuck Hamas.
you are
Hamas.
No,
Are
no.
you happy?
You're missing my point. You're talking
Ah, você não tá me entendendo.
in a generalized way about people
Ah, mas nem todo ocidental.
who always talk about Arabs as savages. I don't.
No. I'm talking
I never
about
have.
America. About
I actually
Western
led the
media. I'm talking
campaign.
about West.
You're missing my point. You're talking in a generalized way about people in the West who always talk about Arabs as savages. I don't.
No. I'm talking
I never
about
have.
America.
Eu não. Puta que pariu. É igual o Last lá na entrevista falando. Eu sou sionista e não sou racista, né? Puta que pariu.
I led the media campaign in this country against the Iraq War. Okay, so I don't see people in the Middle East as savages. But what I would say is,
Não, aqui tem vários problemas. Ele fala assim, eu liderei a mídia contra a guerra do Iraque. E aí ele falou, não, nem todos vocês são selvagens.
but what I would say is,
talking about you. You're great.
no, it's not about me
You're
being great.
amazing.
It's
We
about
love you.
It's about
Wallahi.
Esse beijinho, não, esse beijinho foi...
It's about the way Hamas behaved on October the 7th was like savages, like a pack of savages. It was the worst atrocity against Jewish people since the Holocaust. There has to be,
Of course.
there has to be a response. And my
They
question
should be
for you
eradicated.
my question
They
for you
should be
is,
killed until the last
notwithstanding
one
the
of them.
history, Bassem, what is the proportionate response?
But I don't know. But there's no Hamas in the West Bank, and they're still dying there. So what's your excuse?
I don't have any excuse.
Okay, what's your explanation? Sorry, my earpiece went down.
Listen, I don't make any pretense that this hasn't been a massive problem
Okay,
between Palestine and Israel.
Isso tem sido um grande... Olha isso tem sido um grande problema. É que é a tentativa de equiparação.
To the mid-40s. We all know this, right?
Pierce, listen. I'm not saying that you're making excuse, but if you are adopting a certain point of view, you have to at least defend it.
Toma!
I'm telling you, there is no...
Aí, ó. Tá ligado? Shawarma é muito melhor que fish and chips. Um kebabzinho é muito melhor que fish and chips. Mas muito melhor. Melhor. Segura o meu kebab.
Hamas in the West Bank. What is the excuse? Not your excuse. What is the excuse to kill those people?
Well, listen, this question of proportionality is one that...
A cara dele é muito boa.
No. Answer my question. I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your
Ah, vai tomar no cu! Caralho, não é meu trabalho responder as perguntas. Só eu posso fazer perguntas. Eu não vou responder. Peidão. Ô, peidola.
It's not.
Okay. I agree with
I'm
you.
more
It is
interested
not
in
your job.
you, who has family in Gaza, who's an Egyptian in the Middle East, right? I'm more interested in what you have to say.
Claro, o lugar de fala dele.
Okay, I'm telling you. I think Hamas is the problem. Okay,
Right.
Now let's
Then we're
say
agreed.
Hamas is removed. Let's Hamas. Yeah. I'm agreeing with everything. بص, you want me to condemn Hamas? I will condemn Hamas, Hummus, Hassan, everyone. Guys, so wait. I can't hear you. The earpiece. Damn. Okay. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I do need help.
I think
Okay.
just go back. Is he there?
You go back. You go.
Can you
go
hear
back?
me?
Okay. Go. Thank you, guys.
Can you hear, Bassem?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Can you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
So Isaac, let's say, for example, Hamas ceased to exist. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hamas ceased to exist today. Now, right now, in Palestine, in West Bank and Gaza, 20% of Palestinians go through Israeli prison system, whether imprisonment, whether interrogation, whether torture. And the rest of them, they live a life of daily loss of land, of homes, of life, and they are suffocated by this. So let me ask you something. If you are a Palestinian living into these conditions for decades, would you sympathize with your oppressor or sympathize with the people who claim they resist them even if they are terrorists?
I have made no secret that I think the conditions Palestinians have had to exist under are completely unacceptable. I've said that for years. So the question then becomes, how do you forge peace between two warring parts of that region who for decades have approached peace, in my view, with
se aproximaram da paz porque Israel quase matou todo mundo, né?
mutual sledgehammers, with no
Marretas mútuas.
actual desire to have peace. And I think it comes down in the end to great leadership. And I don't think there's great leadership. I don't think, well, hang on, let me make my point. I don't think there's great leadership on either side. Where is the Nelson Mandela figure here?
Nossa.
Nelson
Nelson Mandela era chamado de terrorista até o momento que ele conseguiu adequar seu discurso à ideia dominante. E ele ficou 27 anos preso. 27 anos preso, com leniência da Grã-Bretanha, dos Estados Unidos, de todo o mundo civilizado, que olhava para o apartheid sul-africano e falava, suave, pô. É que a partir de um determinado momento, aí a galera pega pesado. Depois da opressão de Brazzaville, alguma coisa assim. Aí pegou, né? Cadê o Nelson? Sabe onde é que tá o Nelson Mandela, o Fish and Chips? Nelson Mandela tá morto.
Nelson Mandela?
Yeah,
Well,
where is that
Nelson
figure?
Mandela,
Tá morto.
Nelson Mandela actually have criticized Israel for being a horrible state. All of the South African
I know.
activists have actually
My point
called
is,
Israel.
my point is
yes.
about how he responded.
Não, e é muito bom, né? Porque olha só a lógica liberal. Ele vai utilizar a perspectiva do Nelson Mandela como um herói solitário, como um grande líder individual que conseguiu costurar tudo, sozinho.
To a country that was so divided is a
I don't know. I haven't.
is a template for how you get to peace, isn't it?
I haven't met Nelson Mandela, so I wouldn't know. But like there's a point. There's a very important point here. You know, I want to understand what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza. I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim is to eradicate and wipe out Hamas. They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza.
E aí eles foram lá e bombardearam o sul.
They also are aware they're living amongst civilians. So it's an incredibly difficult thing. As I said in my monologue, you know, it is very, very difficult to see how they do this without massive collateral damage.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
Acabou? Entrega a 10, a faixa, aposenta a camisa, que o artilheiro chegou.
No, I haven't. I don't see any comparison between
It's going to be the headlines tomorrow. Piers Morgan, Israel is ISIS.
Only amongst people who weren't listening. The comparison, which is more apposite, is
Claro, as pessoas que não estão ouvindo, né?
ISIS and Hamas.
As pessoas que não entendem, os burros.
They are both nihilistic terror groups
absolutely.
intent on killing as many Jewish people and others as they can possibly kill. And you
know
can't,
what?
you can't get peace with people like that.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to do something that nobody done on your television. You know what I'm going to do on your episode? I'm going to pretend that I'm an Israeli citizen. I'm going to put myself in the place of an Israeli settler in the kibbutz. And I want to speak to my Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, I have voted for you because you have promised us peace and prosperity and security. On the 7th of October, those son of bitches Hamas, they went into the fence that is regularly heavily guarded. Usually if there's like a dove that comes close to it, it will be shot. Those people went in and they went for 6 hours before IDF forces was deployed, killing our friends, our families, kidnapping our grandmothers and babies, and went in. I want to ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, after you have fractured the Israeli community and you have fucked our courts, our Supreme Courts, what are you doing with the money being given to you, to the United States? Also, you are carpet bombing Gaza with absolutely no regard to our hostages, our people. I heard a rumor in the kibbutz that you're doing that as you let that happen as an excuse to carpet bomb Gaza, so you push them into Sinai. And I didn't believe it. It's like, not my prime minister. He can never do that. And then I watched an interview for Danny Ayalon. He was your chief advisor. He was also the Israeli ambassador to the United States. And you know what he said, Mr. Prime Minister? He said that the solution for those Palestinians is to go into a vast land of Sinai and live into tent cities temporarily, temporarily, wink wink, until we build Gaza again, and then we invite you back. يعني عبط احنا بقى. يعني فاهمني؟ We've seen this movie before. So يعني, and when I saw this, I couldn't explain to my fellows in the kibbutz, how come our Israeli government is trading human lives for another piece of land? So as an Israeli citizen, I need to hold my Israeli government accountable. And as an American citizen, I want to know all of these money that we are giving to Israel. We're giving them $4 billion every year. Joe Biden said it's the best investment America ever done. Well, if I am in the place of Joe Biden, I would say, sorry, don't speak. I would say, if I was Joe Biden, I would go down and whisper in the ears of Netanyahu and tell them, I hate bad investments. They haunt me, you know, like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. But the thing is, this is the problem. Israel always victimizes itself, and I have never seen a victim putting their oppressor under siege and bombing them 24/7. Israel wants you to believe that they are the victim. Dealing with Israel is so difficult. It's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic psychopath. He fucks you up, and then he makes you think it's your fault.
All right,
you look at Israel as Superman, but they're really Homelander. Wallahi, they are like, they are...
Caralho! Muito bom! Muito forte!
Bassem, I want to say one thing.
And they are annoyed with the flashes.
Bassem, I want to say two things. One, if you could just slightly manage your language.
Vai tomar no... excuse me, Mr. Fish and Chips. Excuse me, Mr. Fish and Chips. Gonna cry. Gonna fart. Gonna fart.
I'm very sorry.
We have to apologize to viewers who may be offended by that.
Ok, desculpa, exatamente. Igual eu xingando na live. Desculpa, gente. Desculpa.
Hi, so let's not get too bogged down about the odd swear word.
I apologize to the viewers. I apologize to the viewers for my language.
My second question is this.
After the sight of dead civilians.
After the break, we have the managing director of the Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's company. We were going to interview him on his own, but he's happy to come on and talk with you directly if you are prepared to stay.
Well, of course, I can stay, but again, I am in a disadvantage, and I would like to have my space to respond.
Okay, we'll come back after the break.
Because here's the thing. There's
Bassem,
two things
we're going to go to a break.
All right.
When we come back from the break, we'll be you and Jeremy Boring from the Daily Wire.
I have news.
We're taking a short break, Bassem. I'll be back.
Hi, Jeremy. Please say hello to Ben Shapiro, and please tell him that I do think he is the smartest person to ever walk the earth. Thank you so much. So, as response to Jeremy, I agree with everything you said. I mean, what is disproportionate? I mean, he just used the...
ainda quer constranger o cara, velho.
From Second World War in America, showing that civilian casualty is... I mean, I heard his voice. He was very sad. And as he was telling us, it is so inevitable to kill so many civilians because it's something that we cannot avoid. I hear the sadness in his voice. And I know that it's a very difficult decision to kill all of these civilians because that's for a higher cause. And I understand. But my question, I have two questions. The question is, how can you justify the killing in the West Bank where Hamas does not exist? And if the disproportionate response during over all of these years...
Muito bom, porque agora ele tá segurando o papel exatamente onde tá a minha câmera, né? Então é como se ele estivesse me segurando, né?
Have actually worked. What will be new this time that did not happen before? I just want to... That was my question.
Okay,
that was my question.
I'm gonna...
Okay. So now, if I ask the question, can I say something on my side?
Well,
little bit
no,
personal.
Bassem, with
A
respect, you
little
had
bit personal.
Bassem, with respect, I gave you half the show to have your side. Jeremy's had a lot less time. I'm going to have to
You
move
want me
on.
to leave?
Bassem,
Or do you want me to stay?
I'm going to have to let you go because we've been on air with you for 40
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
Now,
Bye
all
bye.
right? But listen,
Bye bye.
I
Bye
would
bye.
like to talk to you again, and
Bye-bye.
thank you for joining the program. I appreciate it.
Oh.
Que canalha, que covarde canalha.
By the way, my wife's family is all right, and they sent us a house. It's bombed.
Peraí. É aqui que nem eu tô conseguindo.
It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good like Halloween theme. So
Well,
thank you.
I'm very sorry for what your family are going through in Gaza, and I mean that
No.
very sincerely.
By the way, I don't know. I don't know I don't know him. By the way, I haven't actually met them. They didn't even come to my wedding. They couldn't because they are stuck in Gaza,
Okay.
and she never saw them because Gaza is not a destination.
Bassem, as I say,
we hear their voices, and it's they die. It's fine. It's fine.
Bassem, I wish your family all the very best. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
I don't. Thank you.
Ai, 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 ai. Caralho, velho. I believe in Bassem supremacy. Censurado, né? O Fish and Chips foi macetado, né? É isso, macetado. Macetado. Como eu macetaria um kebab agora, nesse instante. E não uma porção de Fish and Chips.